Welcome. Bonjour to What the Flick. We're talking about Amour, which has gotten a lot of attention lately. This is the latest film from Michael. Is it Hanukkah or Haneke?
Hanukkah, apparently.
I think it's Hanukkah.
But it's you can spell it with a C
with
or without.
CH or an H on the end.
So 8-9.
It's almost Christmas, but it is Hanukkah now.
Yes. Alonso and I are in the LA Film Critics Association, and we just picked this as the best film of the year.
Yes, we
Crazy
did.
talk.
Crazy
Crazy
foreign
talk.
stuff. Make us
go
read.
figure.
Please describe it to us.
Okay, so this is a film about an elderly couple in Paris, and the wife, who's played by Emmanuelle Riva, who won Best Actress from Los Angeles Film Critics,
In a tie
with Jennifer Lawrence, yes, suffers a stroke and sort of begins slowly becoming more and more incapacitated, and her husband, Jean-Louis Trintignant, is sort of forced to take care of her and to try and figure out what is in both of their futures. Take a look.
Y a quelqu'un? Y a quelqu'un?
So he will hold a shot.
Yeah.
Oh man, he'll hold a shot. He'll hold a shot of a bookcase.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not just a shot of, like, you'd think he'd hold a shot of an awkward moment between them in the kitchen, but frequently there are no characters on screen when
From
he
like
holds a
outside
shot.
in the hallway,
Right,
far
it's all-
away.
right.
Yeah, that hallway is like the third major character in
Totally,
this film.
yeah.
A lot happens in
Actually.
there.
Yeah, best supporting actor.
Yeah, I'll tell you. I mean, I come and go with Michael Haneke. Like, I loved The White Ribbon and The Piano Teacher. I thought Funny Games was an exercise in sadism.
Oh, I like
and
Funny Games.
yeah, that movie bugs the shit out of me. This, I think, is, while it does not let you off the hook in any way, it is probably his most humane film in terms of, you know, I didn't feel like he was judging the characters. I didn't feel like he was judging us for wanting to see this movie, which is what Funny Games is. I felt it was let's tell this story about a woman's slow descent without being all gross and Lifetime movie about it. And I've been through this multiple times in my life now between my parents and Dave's. So I mean, he really touches on a lot of the stuff that happens and the way that those moments make you feel. And I especially like the fact that Riva's character, right after the initial stroke, basically says to her husband, look, this is just going to get worse, and I don't want to go through this, you know, and there's always, you know, that whole discussion about, you know, how do we prolong people's lives and when do people have the choice to say that they don't want to continue. And I was just thrilled to see a movie where they actually were able to broach that subject and have somebody come out and say, look, this is going to get worse, I don't want to be here for it.
And she does some things that could be potentially alienating to us as an audience. Like, she completely rejects her daughter. The daughter comes, she wants to help, she's understandably worried about her mom, and the mom like locks the door and says, I don't want to see it. And the dad too, like, stay away from us, live your life, it's only going to get worse here.
I wondered whether that was French, like, but I don't even mean that like nastily, like that there was a thought of, no, look, this is our problem. You have your life. We're not this. Like, there was an interesting conversation between the father and the daughter when he said, look, don't trouble yourself, essentially. Like, this is our problem, we'll deal with it. You have your life, let's not make a big fuss out of it. Like, and I thought in some ways that was incredibly warm and fatherly, and in another way it was ice friggin' cold.
There's also the scene where the mother talks about how the daughter's husband gets on her nerves with his British sense of humor, you know. And so I can kind of, you know, I think, you know, you get into that place when you're dealing with illness where there are people who mean well, but their visits only create more problems.
You have to be on.
Yeah, exactly. Like, they're not really there to help. They're there to feel like, to assuage their own guilt and show up, but they really aren't doing anything, and so they actually become another thing you have to deal with.
Yeah, when the father says at one point, I don't have time for you or your calls or to deal with your drama, and you're like, I don't care. Like, this is my whole life now, and you can, it's this or nothing, but I don't get to I don't need to make you feel good and fill you in.
Yeah, no, the insularity that they create is very vivid and very sad and very believable, because like they're in their 80s and what's there left to do but wait around to die in the apartment all day.
Then why didn't you like it more?
It is incredibly slow, and I appreciate that it dwells on the mundane moments of their life, and that's real. I was bored shitless quite often in this movie. I know. And then something happens and it gets exciting again.
As I told you guys before we started, I'm not really weighing in here because I got halfway through it and fell asleep.
Yeah.
I just stopped watching.
I found it incredibly
Like, I
powerful, and I'm
fell
not.
asleep.
I'm not always on the Hanukkah bus, but I maybe it's just because I
You're
related.
driving the Hanukkah bus today.
That's because you have the Christmas book.
There we
Right, there's a
go.
menorah on top.
Maybe it's because
So expensive. The Hanukkah bus.
The price of gas these
Maybe because
days.
I related to it from having gone
Oh, yeah,
through
the
this
drive
stuff
is so bad.
in my own life, but I just, this is over. Anyway, this movie worked for me. I really
Alonso
liked
likes
it.
this movie.
It's a powerful film. It is a super
He recommends
bummer.
you get on the Hanukkah bus.
It is a super bummer. I will acknowledge that from the get-go. This is a sad movie about old people getting older and deteriorating. But,
I mean, I'm halfway in between you guys because I got bored also, and I thought that there was just a little bit too movement. You know, that there are time shifts. Like we don't see so much a slow descent as we'll see one scene, and then you got to get used to the next scene being, we don't know, maybe it's a day later, maybe it's 3 weeks later, and she's deteriorated to a new low. And I had a little trouble adjusting to following exactly. Like I found myself oddly confused, which made me feel incredibly stupid because this is not supposed to be a confusing movie.
It's all the same level. There's nothing to differentiate what matters and what doesn't.
Right. So it was a little too much of the holding the shots, and it was very slow. But and obviously I don't want to give anything away about the end. What I will applaud him for is I thought a wonderfully ambiguous ending about a lot of people involved in it. And I thought that was good.
You know, the two leads are like veterans of the French New Wave. She was in Hiroshima Mon Amour, and he was in countless films. So they're both really still at the top of their game, and
they're both
amazing performances.
Great.
Isabelle Huppert, who plays the daughter, just has a couple of scenes, but she really knocks it out. I was really moved by this, but again. If you have had a loved one go through a similar kind of thing, I think this movie is going to hit you in a lot of ways that you're going to wind up revisiting things that maybe you were hoping not to.
I think that's why a lot of critics are responding to it so emotionally and so passionately because it strikes a chord.
No, absolutely, and I think more and more people are dealing with the illness of parents and that kind of thing, and so it's he does it really well, and he doesn't do it in a goopy the Hollywood version.
And it's really good to see two again sort of established but actors in their 70s. Totally carrying the movie by themselves.
I give it a 9.2. This is one of the best films of the year.
I should change my number because I do sound more up on it than the number is. I should say 6.
6, so it pulls. I can do that. 7.2.
All right.
Right.
Okay.
Basically, pulls it up 0.3. Might take
I
it.
should say 6.
All right. So you're at a 6.
Okay.
9.2. I gave it a 6.5. I do not see how it was the best movie of the year.
I don't either. I'm not saying I voted for it. I'm saying we picked it. Bye.
Bye.